What is going on, everybody? Appreciate you tuning in. We are back with another edition of Snap Counts podcast. It has been a interesting, interesting day in the NFL. So we're back to kind of talk about that. Also, I feel like I want to talk about some things surrounding the playoffs as well, but we'll kind of get to that a little bit later. But before we get into everything, Trajan, how are you doing today?
Doing good, doing good. A little brisk out here in the state of Wisconsin. A little cold, but outside of that,
Mm-hmm.
doing good. My wife started setting up the Christmas decorations behind me here, so we're getting there. We're getting
Yeah,
fancy now. So it's that time of year, right? Turns
yeah,
Thanksgiving's over, so now decorations are all up. The tree's been up for like 2 weeks, so
right. I mean, look, once you get in, like you said, Thanksgiving, you're just in the holiday mood. And now for the next couple of weeks, you get Christmas music thrown in your face. By the time you actually get to
every day.
Christmas, you're almost like over it. But it it is what it is. Also signals that we're very close to the end of the year, and we do it all again, starting
Oh
January
yeah,
1.
oh yeah.
As Baltimore just fumbled. But yeah, so that game's going on, which I mean, Justin Tucker with more misses, but hey, we'll get to that a little bit later. But yeah, so like looking at some of the early action, there were some games that definitely caught my attention. I think the first one I want to bring up was I want to start with Jacksonville, Houston, Jacksonville, because there's a lot of talk with the hit on Trevor Lawrence from Shahir on the Texans. I think obviously, you're hoping for a recovery with Trevor Lawrence. He left the game with a concussion, and I think that play has also brought into the spotlight some quarterbacks like fake sliding. And you got defenders who sometimes will hold up, and then the quarterback's able to get a couple extra yards. This case, Shahir went all in, caught Trevor Lawrence late, led to a whole brawl and everything. So where are you with on the play? I mean, he got ejected. I mean, obviously that's warranted because it is a very thin line with that play. Because if Shahir
I
doesn't go full speed, Trevor Lawrence is going to continue to run.
I hate I hate sliding. I do. I hate it. I hate the sliding. I get it. You're protecting yourself, but this is what you get. This is what you get. I mean, I've watched it. I'm watching it right now. I've watched it like 45 times here, and I've been trying to wrap my head around: was it completely dirty,
Mm-hmm.
or what else? And when he's coming to hit, when he's coming in to make contact, he's already committed. He's committed to taking Trevor Lawrence out at the legs. And Trevor Lawrence goes into that slide. And I'm not going to say he didn't slide because he committed to slide. Like it was no
Mm-hmm.
fake slide. He was committing to slide. I do think he slid late. I don't think he slid. I think he should, if he was going to commit to slide, I think it should have been a little bit earlier. I think I hate to think that way because I pray that Trevor Lawrence is okay. Like this hit is nasty. I'm watching it again here, but by the time I don't know, there's such that fine line, right? You mentioned it. It's a fine line in between. Was it too early? Was it too late? Was the hit early? Was it late? Was the slide? Was it late? Was it warranted? It's such a fine line. And how can you sit here and watch this and say like, yeah, Trevor Lawrence was already sliding, gone, and what is he supposed to do? And I hate to defend him, but when you're going full bore, how do you make that hit? How do you decommit from already committing into making a tackle like that? I don't know. I keep watching it over and over again, and I'm like, okay, it looks dirty, it looks bad, it looks really bad. But then I watch it slow mo, I watch it all, and it's like, okay, he's committed into this hit already. By the time Lawrence is coming, he's already ducked. He's already coming forward. So the only thing he can do is just bail out right then. And how do you
Mm-hmm.
bail out of going? I don't know. It's such a bang bang, and it sucks. It really does suck because I know a lot of people are furious and a lot of people want him suspended from the league and this and that and everything else. And I get it. I completely get it. But I don't know. And Justin Tucker missed again. It's wild.
The-
It's wild. What
the
point does he
serious
just
conversation needs to
a
be
different?
had about Justin Tucker for sure. But
What he just bringing a different kicker? Like he's still got the leg. That's dead on. It's just to the right. Like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. But I mean, I hate it. I hate to say that. I hate to say that it wasn't dirty because I think it was dirty because the way that it looked was dirty. But if you think about it from a linebacker or a corner's perspective, you're coming full
mhm,
ball, you already commit to it, and a quarterback goes into a slide like that,
yeah,
happen. And it's gonna happen and it's gonna happen again. And it sucks. It really does suck. And I'm praying that Trevor Lawrence is all good and he's gonna be able to get back onto the football field here at some point this season. But
mhm,
I mean, there's a fine line, and I feel like there's gotta be a different way to I don't even know. How do you protect quarterbacks even more than when they slide? Like how do you
mhm,
do that? I mean, I just wish that quarterbacks would just stay up and lay the boom. That and make life way easier, right? Josh Allen, he just stays up and he lays the boom. He doesn't slide. You're never gonna have one of them against him. But like some of these quarterbacks, they go down the slide, and you get situations like this. And it is tough now though because quarterbacks are the most protected people on the planet. And if you touch them wrong, it does end up like this. I don't know if are we making the same hoopla about this if it wasn't Trevor Lawrence and it wasn't a quarterback coming out of the backfield? If it was a tight end who decided to slide or something else, are we making the same argument about it? I don't know. I don't know. I think it was in looking at it, it's a dirty hit, but it's a
mhm.
fine line. And I don't think he should be suspended from the league for this hit. I think he probably will get fined, which is right. I think he will get suspended, which I feel like is right. I don't think he should be suspended from the league because I feel like hits like this are going to happen down the road. And are we going to suspend everybody for making a hit like this? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's where it gets tricky. A lot of it is these guys in the secondary. They are just heat-seeking missiles, and once they get in their mind, they are going for a tackle. You see a lot of them drop their head and kind of just dive at a spot. And I would love to see like an angle of it if we see the moment where Shahir maybe dropped his head and where Trevor Lawrence was, because that's when you really make the commitment that you're going in for the hit. So yeah, I do think because as a quarterback, everybody does react a different way because look, a lot of these quarterbacks are smaller guys, and when they take hits like that, it it has a major impact. But I do agree, hits like this happen on wide receivers, it happens on running backs, and we usually don't necessarily pay too much attention unless we see the concussed like
Nope.
motion with the
Okay.
hands or anything like that. So
I slowed it down. I slowed it
okay,
down. Yeah. Nope. I'm going to take back my statement. Um,
that
he
was
had
dirty.
time. It
Yeah.
was dirty. I'm watching. If you get the clip up and you stop it at about 5 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
just about 5 seconds, Lawrence starts to slide. And he sees it. He's heads up. He sees the whole thing, and then he comes in and yeah, no, that's bad. That's dirty hit. That's dirty
Mm-hmm.
hit. I
Yeah.
rewatched it. I live time when you don't really slow it down, when you don't have a full screen, you can't really tell. When you slow it down and you really watch it, yeah, that's dirty hit. He was
Yeah.
committed into the slide already, and he saw it. His head did not drop until Lawrence was already sliding.
Yeah. And I mean, look, watching it full speed, everything looks really close. But yeah, like you said, you slow it down. Yeah. And even what I was talking about was like not necessarily this play, but like the next guy. Because like you said, it's going to happen again.
Yep.
And in some cases, yes, quarterbacks wait for the very last moment to go down. But this one, yeah, I think that's why there was that reaction from Jaguars players. They're gonna react anyway because they're quarterback, but you understand where they're coming from because Trevor Lawrence just came back from injury, and now this happens to him. And he had
Yep.
the moment where he's laying on the field, his arms up, he has the fist, and you could tell he's out. Any lineman that sees that in their quarterback, they're going to react like that's going to happen. But Look, the league will suspend him, like you said, and obviously with the way that it looks, when you slow it down and everything, the suspension could be interesting to look to see what the league does. And we also know a fine has to be attached to it.
Yeah, yeah, because he takes off. I'm looking at it now. He takes off from the 42-yard line. Whatever is, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. What's the defender's name?
Sheer.
Here, he takes off from the 42-yard line, and Trevor Lawrence starts his slide at about the 46. This is going towards the Texans at about the 46, and he's in his slide at the 45. So it's 3 yard separation between the two guys before he
Mm-hmm.
actually comes to make this hit. And yeah, that's bad. That's bad. He's going to be suspended, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's for a few games and a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, looking on the other side of the field, the Texans did get the win there, but I feel like it's another performance where you're like a little uneven because for a good portion of this game, it was like 6-0. It was 6-6. So it looked like another ugly performance from them, but they're 8-5. So you got to give them credit for the win. But I did want to just talk about the hit on Trevor Lawrence. Uh, I think before we came on, we were talking about this a little bit. Cincinnati once again. I mean, like what do you do with this? Like another game where they score in the high 30s in a losing effort, and they now find themselves at 4-8. Those slim chances they had at the playoffs, you can wipe that away. I mean, even with this defense, I don't think anybody really took them seriously to turn it around. But that's now, let's see, how many games is it? So they lose to the Steelers 44-38. Was it 3 weeks ago they lost to the Ravens 35-34? They lost to the Ravens the first time 41-38. They lost to the Commanders 38-33. I mean, Chiefs, they lost 26-25. Like, a lot of games here where you feel like the offense did enough to get them a win, and the defense completely failed. So if you are Joe Burrow, how are you reacting to this after the season?
Well, I'm telling him, you're first off, you're going to sign my boy Jamar Chase. Let's just get that done and over with before we even move on here. And then I'm saying, I don't care there's nothing I need on the offense right now. Nothing. Not a single thing. Chase Brown's good enough. Khalil Herbert's in there now. We can make it work on the offense. You're drafting me to defense. Defense, defense, defense. Find me a free agent out there, maybe multiple free agents out there who can fill spots on this defense because they are terrible. That front for the Bengals is terrible. Like, just, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I won't be surprised if they are one of the worst defensive fronts in football. Like, it would not surprise me whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
This is a terrible, terrible put together defense. And I mean, yeah, like you said, to see the numbers that Joe Burrow is putting up, that this offense is putting up, and to have performances like this where you lose 44-38 to the Steelers and you give up this looks like Russell Wilson from the Super Bowl year. Like, this is 29
Mm-hmm.
for 38 for 414 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like, that's nuts. Russell Wilson hasn't put numbers up like that in years. And this is what we see here. And then, I mean, Chris Canty's going to be on the morning show tomorrow and tell us it's because Joe Burrow threw one interception that the Bengals lost this game. That's what he's going to tell us. But it is not the reason why the Bengals lost this game. This is a terrible defense all the way around. And Joe Burrow, I mean, you have to go in there and say, hey, we got to fix the defense. Like, I don't know what you guys got to do. Pony up some more money and fix this defense because this is bad.
Yeah, I agree. Like offensively, they've shown they can get it done. You know, they had they had the offense that Joe Mixon and all those guys. They're all gone. Chase is the one you have to keep. T. Higgins, I would like to say keep him as well, but if you're going to tell me you move on from T. Higgins and you invest that into the defense, I think Chase and Burrow would take that because they've also shown, whether it's Yoshivas or whoever, that Joe Burrow can make plays with these other guys.
Yep.
As long as you keep Jamar Chase. So I agree with you. Draft, draft cornerbacks, draft pass rushers. Like, I don't care. Like, draft whatever, and solely do that on with the draft. If you want to draft like a running back, fine, I guess. But other than that, focus on getting that defense back to where you score 38. You got to be able to stop these other teams from dropping 40 on you.
Yes.
Like that
Yeah.
that's ridiculous, because now that puts even more pressure on Joe Burrow than there was going into a lot of these games. Like, 38 might not be good enough. If you want to call yourself a playoff team, like, you can't have that happen. So it'll be interesting to see. Anthony says that Chase is too mad to stay with the team. I
Nah,
kind of
money
thought
talks.
that. I kind of thought that when he was doing his whole like hold in during the off season. But then when he came back and was just like, "Oh yeah, I just want to have fun again."
Yeah.
Something tells me there's like some tentative agreement that we probably hear about in the off season. That's kind of what I think, or at least Chase gets the idea that the team is committed to keeping him, so that's why he came back to play.
Yeah.
Like, he
Yeah.
probably
Money
wasn't feeling the love,
talks.
so that's why he was sitting. Yeah,
And Joe Burrow is his best friend. They've been together for how long now? Like, he's gonna stick around as long as Joe wants him to stay around, and they can pay him. So he'll stay.
yeah, yeah. I doubt Joe Burrow lets him go. And Anthony also said, "Can we say the Vikings were scary? Was scary at first, but not anymore. They can be beaten." I guess we can transition from that to the Minnesota, who, I, yeah, they played Arizona. Arizona's a team that I feel like I was buying into. I think Arizona had a decent showing. There were a couple of careless turnovers from Kyler Murray, which did help Minnesota in this one. But look, Minnesota's 10-2. They're finding ways to win. I do think no matter what happens, the Sam Darnold part of the equation for Minnesota is the one part that everybody's going to be scared of going forward. But looking at how they played today, you'd have to say a bit of a quality win against the Cardinals, depending on how you feel about the Cardinals. What do you make of Minnesota after today? Do you feel better about them after this than you did last week? Or do you feel worse about them? Or about the same?
About the same. I don't trust them. I gotta be honest with you. I don't trust them. So they had that game. They lost to the Lions. They lost to the Rams. Back-to-back games. Then they played that game against the Colts, and it was a close one. And
Mm-hmm.
the Colts are the Colts. That game against Jacksonville, where Mac Jones was trying to outduel Sam Darnold, and it was 12-7. That scares you a little bit. The Titans game was close. The Bears
Mm-hmm.
game, you could vouch the Bears should have won that game. You could vouch the Jaguars would have won that game with Trevor Lawrence. The Titans would have won it if they didn't have Will Levis. And you could look at the Cardinals game now and say, if Kyler Murray could make a play in a big moment, the Cardinals could probably win a football game too.
Mm-hmm.
So the Cardinals could have probably won this game. So we look 5 wins in a row now where probably easily could have lost those football games. Just simply because I don't even know if they did those little things. They did the little things better than these teams, but these teams screwed themselves, right? The Bears screwed themselves, got the ball first in overtime, couldn't score. Looking at the Cardinals game, Kyler Murray, interceptions. Had a chance, interceptions. Looking at the Titans game, I mean, Will Levis, he struggled a little bit, but I mean, it's the Titans. It's the Titans, so they were struggling. Then you look Jaguars, Mac Jones. I mean, he was trying to throw as many interceptions as Sam Darnold. The Vikings they don't scare me. The defense does. I think they have a good defense, but they have a good coach. They have a good defensive coordinator. But I look at Sam Darnold and I say, Sam Darnold can't beat me. Sam Darnold cannot beat me. That's where I think I draw the line with the Vikings taking it over the edge. And that's why I don't consider them, I consider them a contender. But if you were going to give me, hey, who's going to go beat the Lions tomorrow, right? Who's going to go beat the Lions tomorrow? I don't think the Vikings would be that team for me. Like, who's going to
Hmm.
go touchdown for touchdown? We can duel with you with our quarterback and our offense versus your offense. Justin Jefferson, yeah. Addison, yeah. But right now, Aaron Jones has got a fumble problem. He had one fumble today, but he also fumbled a couple other balls that he got back. So Aaron Jones is struggling to hold on to the football. Sam Darnold, he's going to be the kryptonite to this team. Is he? Can he do enough? And I think he almost does enough in the wrong way. So I don't feel any better if I'm a Vikings fan. I don't feel any better because Sam Darnold is not. He's just not that guy. He's not the guy who is going to take me over the top. He played okay today, 21 for 31, 235. He didn't play bad, but I don't think in a big game he can outduel anybody. I really don't. I don't think he can outduel Patch Mahomes. I don't think he can outduel Jared Goff. I don't think he can outduel Jordan Love. I really don't. Jordan Love, if he gets hot, he is twice the quarterback Sam Darnold is. I don't think that Sam Darnold can outduel any quarterbacks. If the Vikings are going to go anywhere, it's on the back of the defense and what Justin Jefferson can do with the prayers that are thrown up there.
Yeah, yeah, and that's kind of where I was going to go. Part of the conversation here in a little bit. Jory, what's going on? Titans got screwed due to the refs.
They
Yeah,
do
that
that a
was
lot.
that was the game against the Vikings with the Brownlee who had the hit in the end zone that they called. I can't even remember the call anymore, but it was a brutal call for that one. Um, she said in that game, yes, talking about the Vikings and the Titans. So I think a lot of teams are kind of in this situation where they're getting wins, but you're not really sure how good they are necessarily. And since we're dealing with an NFC and an AFC with kind of some new teams entering the conversation, like it's easy to know, like Kansas City, it's easy to go, well, Kansas City gets to the playoffs, they kind of know what they're doing. It's easy, I guess if you're a Ravens fan, you're like, Baltimore's been in the playoffs the past couple of years. We
They don't know what
think
they're
we know
doing,
we're
but
going to
they know
get.
how to get there.
Right. They know how to get there at least. Then you're looking at teams like the Steelers who have made the quarterback switch and you don't know. You got the Texans who have been up and down. The NFC, it's like the Lions, because of last season, you're like, okay, you kind of know where they're going. But you look at like the Cardinals or the Falcons, it's just a lot of unknowns. So I think since we kind of opened up the floor to that conversation a little bit, I do want to have the exercise. Uh, so let's look at the standings here. I
I
think we'll
don't
start with
think
the
the
AFC.
Titans. Where did the what is Anthony talking about? The refs didn't do nothing. Titans turned the ball over 3 times. They only turned the ball over once in the entire game.
Yeah, Anthony, we're referencing the Vikings Titans game. I'm not sure which one, unless he's talking about today.
Did they turn it over 3 times today? I
I
don't know. I'm
I was
confused.
trying to look that
I'm
up.
lost. Let's do your exercise. I'll figure
Yeah.
it out.
Okay.
No,
So
not today either.
yeah,
2 turnovers today. 2 interceptions by Kyler Murray.
yeah. I'm trying to think of which game. 3 turnovers in the first quarter. I don't know, but let's look at AFC first. So all things considered, the playoffs will run through Arrowhead. So tell me your confidence level in this team going to Arrowhead and getting a win. I guess we'll do
No.
scale of 1 to 10. If you're in the chat, you can give us your number as well. So let's start with the Broncos. How confident
Broncos
would you be?
out of
Yeah,
10?
yeah.
Give me a 2. I'll go solid 2. I'll give
Okay,
him the benefit of the doubt for, I don't know, maybe some magic. Maybe like some Tim Tebow magic with Bo Nix.
okay. I mean, look, we've seen the Broncos get some quality wins against some good teams. So you feel like they'd have a chance. You
There's a
would think that if
chance.
they were in a position that if they're in a position like the Raiders were on Friday, had the Chiefs against the ropes, where they lose that off of that bad snap and the turnover, I feel like you think the Broncos might be better prepared for that situation. I think two's fair because, like I said, we don't know Bo Nix. Like to trust Bo Nix to go into Arrowhead, that's a lot to ask. But
Yeah.
let's keep going. How about the Chargers?
Give me a 4. Give me a 4 on that one. I like the
Okay.
odds. They're not great odds, but it's hard to win an Arrowhead, so that's tough. But I give them a 4. I'd give them a 4 there. They got a decent enough defense to bang around for a while. The run game's good. Justin Herbert, he can
Mm-hmm.
duel. He can duel a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'd give him like a 4.
Yeah, I was about to say like a five. I think
Yeah.
Harbaugh with his experience, I feel like the way that we've seen, like the Chargers are fine playing low scoring, punt, defense, take care of the ball, hope for you to make a mistake. Like they can do that, and I think Harbaugh would have them ready to go to Arrowhead and play. So I agree. I would say like a five for them. The Ravens, how confident?
6 or 7. I think the thing that hinges me is Patrick Mahomes can slice and dice that secondary. That secondary is bad. I think he can slice them up. And I'm watching. I can't figure out who the heck is trying to be on Goddard right now, but it ain't going very well for him because Goddard's having a heck of a day right now. I don't know. I'd say like 6 or 7. I'd be right in that 6 or 7 range with him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I, I mean, they for me, it's like they had the opportunity last year in Baltimore. I kind of think they may have that mental block to the point that I don't know how well they would actually do in Arrowhead, especially now looking at Tucker, who used to be a major weapon for them. Now with him being a little shaky, I may put Baltimore down at like a five as well. And my only reason for even having them at a five, I know Derrick Henry will show up,
Yeah.
but I question will Harbaugh and Munkin give him the chance to actually do his work. That's my hesitation when it comes to Baltimore. So I think we're kind of in the same ballpark with that one.
Goodness.
As
Saquon to the
yeah,
end zone.
look, this is what I thought about this game going in. Those of you watching, the Eagles just scored a touchdown. Saquon Barkley, like the Ravens have struggled when dealing with these, dual threat running backs. And Saquon Barkley's got a lot of speed. The second level for the Ravens, not that great. So in the secondary, I mean, Humphrey didn't really attack Barkley in that instance. He kind of let Barkley run to him, but he was like in the end zone. So it's just like, look, could be a big win for uh, Philly. We'll see. Baltimore still has a chance, but the Texans, how confident would you be in them?
That'd be like a 3. A 3, and that'd be CJ Stroud comes out and plays like last season and just starts lighting the world on fire. And the offensive line somehow figures out how to block that week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I think on paper, uh, Houston should be a team that you should feel confident in. CJ Stroud's a guy I like at quarterback. I like Joe Mixon. I like Nico Collins. I like Tank Dell. I like Will Anderson. I like Stingley. Like they have pieces that you're like should be able to do it. They just aren't consistent enough. So I would probably say they're like a four for me. And that might be getting a little too much credit. I don't know. Hey, John, what's going on? Barkley's ahead of Lamar in MVP. Been saying Barkley for MVP for the last 4 weeks. Hey, John, I will go even further. I can't have Lamar be my MVP if Derrick Henry is more important than he is.
Yeah, well, hold on. Hold on.
He
If
is.
Saquon Barkley was not on the Eagles, I don't think the
Mm-hmm.
Eagles are as good as what they are. I don't even think we're talking about the Eagles right now.
Oh no, no,
Saying
no.
one, Bark.
I agree with the
And
Barkley part. I was just saying, for me,
oh,
Lamar
I
can't
see.
be in the conversation
Yeah,
if Derrick Henry's more important to the Ravens than
more
he
important to
is.
the Ravens. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. I'm with you. I'm with you. I was reading it wrong. I'm in it.
yeah. No, yeah, because Barkley, because we know what the Eagles were without Barkley last year.
Yep.
But look how they are this year. That's solely because of Barkley. So I agree. If I were casting an MVP vote, I would go Barkley. I'd probably go Derrick Henry second. Might make the argument Josh Allen third. Because what would Buffalo be without Josh Allen? Even with Josh Allen being up and down at points this season, but you take Josh Allen off that team, how many games are they winning?
Yeah.
And that's
Packers
not
with
taking anything
Josh
away from
Jacobs too.
Lamar.
Josh Jacobs
Yeah.
don't have the yards that everybody's got, but if you want to talk about MVPs, Josh Jacobs for the Packers has been unreal. And sometimes we don't give him the touches that he should get, so that also hurts those stats too.
Johnson mentioned the Texans. I know the Texans have more flashy players, but I might say I trust the Cardinals more than the Texans. Very close, similar to each other. We'll get into the Cardinals when we talk about the NFC, because I am interested to see how confident you would be in them. But let's go ahead and finish up with the AFC. The Steelers. How confident would you be in Mike Tomlin taking the Steelers into Arrowhead and getting a win?
Give me a 7 or an 8.
Okay.
I think that defense travels, and I think that defense can travel out there. So if you can slow down Patrick Mahomes and just keep it a game for Russell Wilson, I feel like he can do enough.
I'm there with you. I think the Steelers are one of possibly two teams I see going into Arrowhead, and especially if Kansas City has one of those games where they look kind of lethargic and going through the motions and are just barely doing enough. I think Pittsburgh's the type of team that would take advantage of that and steal a win, technically, since Kansas City would be the favorite. And I know Mike Tomlin. Look, Mike Tomlin knows who he is. He knows what his teams are, and you don't have to worry about them going off script. There are some instances of Arthur Smith. I get a little worried with the play calling, but I feel like they would be able to make it very competitive. And like you said, they'll get after Patrick Mahomes for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, last team, Buffalo.
That's a solid 8. That's solid 8 or 9. I really do think if there's a year, it could be this season that Josh Allen goes in there and gets a playoff win.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've seen him go up against Mahomes in the regular season and get it done. Playoffs, not so much. But I do think, like you said, with Kansas City this year, this might be the year that the Bills do it. And it might be one of those situations where if Josh Allen and the Bills don't do it this year in the playoffs, they may never do it against Kansas City. And that can put a lot of pressure on Buffalo. But I just feel like Buffalo thinks this is their year to make that Super Bowl appearance. And this Eagles defense is starting to fly around the ball. Okay.
That secondary figured it out.
Baltimore's up against the ropes now. Okay, so let's look at the NFC. So once again, you got the Lions. This is how confident you are these teams could go to Ford Field. We know what that crowd's going to be like. We know how Dan Campbell is and get a win. The Commanders.
Five, 6. Give me a 6. Okay. I'll take a 6 on the Commanders. I like Jane Daniels is healthy again. He's feeling good. The offense is looking better since he got healthy. He can move around a little bit. I think that puts pressure on that Lions defense. Yeah, I think they can make enough plays on the defensive side. Give me a 5 or a 6 on them. I like that.
We'll say Ravens just turn it over on downs, and looks like the Eagles are about to get that win. So John says, be ashamed if Kansas City loses next week to the Chargers and Bills get home field advantage and the number 1 spot. Not going to lie, as tough as Arrowhead is to play as a road team, I don't think Orchard Park is a walk in the
Not
park
in
either.
January, no, because they're getting free. Look at the snow that's falling right now. Can you imagine going up there in January? It's like, oh yeah, we got the AFC Championship game, and there's gonna be 24 inches of snow falling from
Yeah.
the start of the game until the end.
Mm-hmm. But even then, there's like a narrative with Buffalo that they're a cold weather team, but they're not actually that good in cold and bad weather because they rely on Josh Allen's arm so much. But I do think it's a little different this year. I do think they trust James Cook a little more. I think Josh Allen's more likely to take short passes than he has in years past. So, John, I do agree. Like, if the Bills are the number one spot, like next week or in 2 weeks, might do the same exercise with them because that is another tough place to go. I mean, you can say that
Yeah.
with the Steelers too. Going into Pittsburgh in January is not an easy place to play as well. So with the Commanders, you're at a what do you say, a 5 with the Commanders?
Yeah, 5 or 6, right in there.
Okay. I mean, Commanders are interesting.
I think they can
They
ball out with the best of them on certain nights, and on certain nights they can also get dump trucked by the certain best of them. So it's like hit or miss. But 5 or 6 is solid. Like I give them a 50-50 shot. They could go in there and make something happen.
yeah. I mean, if you're gonna tell me that Jaden Daniels is gonna be efficient with the ball, high completion percentage, then yeah, I think they have a chance. I mean,
And
their
healthy.
defense would
Healthy
worry
and
me.
mobile.
Yeah, yeah. The defense might worry me a little bit, but there were times where the defense stepped up and played better, so they have it in them. All right, your Packers.
I think the Packers stack up nicely with them. I really do.
Okay.
They're feeling it right now, and it's Toyotathon. And when it's Toyotathon, Jordan Love starts feeling good.
I saw that stat. Did not know that was a real thing.
That's a real thing. When Toyotathon kicks off, Jordan Love starts kicking off. I don't know what it is. I'm going to tell you this now. Between the Eagles, the Packers, those are the 2 best shots. Those are 2 best shots for an NFC team to walk into Ford Field and win a game. We're going to find out this Thursday because the Packers will be going to Ford Field to take them on. And if it's like the first time around, if Jordan Love protects the football and they let Josh Jacobs do his thing because he was going off until we had to start going into shotgun because we were passing the ball, I think it's a different ball game. So I'm going to be honest with you. Give me like an 8 or a 9. They could go in there and win it. They really could. The only thing that would scare me is the secondary for the Packers if Jair Alexander is not playing, because we have not seen Jair Alexander play against the Lions yet. He didn't play against the Vikings. When he's not there, the secondary is iffy. When he's there, it gets better. Plus, if the pass rush, which has been improving over the past couple of weeks, continues on that trend, when you get a good pass rush, the secondary looks a lot better because they don't have to defend for very long. So, I mean, those go hand in hand. So the Packers are kind of stepping up on defense right now. Quay Walker's playing better. I really do think that the Packers would be like an 8 or a 9.
I mean, look, I feel like I've mentioned on here, I like Jordan Love's ability. I like Josh Jacobs. I like, I like the wide receiver group. Outside of Wicks can make you frustrated, but he has the ability to get off the ball and off of coverage that if he ever became consistent with his hands, like he would be a big problem for defenses. And maybe that clicks one point, I don't know. We'll see. But I agree with you. I think Green Bay has the makings of a team that can go into a tough place on the road and get a win. I definitely agree with that. So I agree. I would put the Packers at like a 7. I mean, I know you had an 8, but I mean that's not too far off. Hold on. Anthony asks, who do we have winning the NFC West? I have said that division at this point. You want to flip a coin and tell me where it lands, and that's your team? Go ahead.
I'm gonna take the Rams. Give me the Rams.
Okay, I'm about to say,
If it's
looking at
gonna-
today, the Rams get the win over the Saints, go to 6-6. Seahawks get a comeback win over the Jets, which for like a quarter and a half, they were right there on the cusp of taking over the lead and kept getting in their own way. And I was like, just take the lead. The Jets want you to take this lead. They finally did, and we'll get more sulking Aaron Rodgers, which love to see that. But the Seahawks are now 7-5. And look, the Cardinals lose a tough one to Minnesota 23-22. And the Niners have a big game tonight against the Bills. So you're going with the
That's a
Rams.
whole lot of snow to be putting an injury-prone lineup into right now.
I mean, that game's going to be interesting to watch.
They did get Brock Purdy back, though. Purdy's back, but
Yeah.
Williams is out, and so is Bosa, so that does not help at all. Plus, I think they have a couple guys in their secondary out, too. So the 49ers are still oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
They cannot get healthy.
Yeah. But they still have a shot. I'm talking about a fumble, but looks like the Eagles might have recovered it. So you're going the Rams. I kind of want to go with Seattle on this one. I feel like it's a broken record. Their skill position players, like if Geno Smith is locked in, Seattle can be dangerous. I think defensively they're getting there with the new coach and everything. I'll go Seattle.
I can see that one too.
Yeah, I think Arizona had an opportunity today to really plant their flag with that division and show like they're serious about it. But Kyler Murray had some bad plays, some bad moments, like scrambling around, spinning, just throwing the ball to an area for an interception. Like that stuff you can't do in a race like this. So I think they're kind of out. So I'll go Seattle. I'll go to Seattle. I mean, Anthony, who do you think will win it? I mean, you did ask the question. Who are you leading to? I mean, anybody else that's watching, who do you have winning the NFC West? And John says, Kyle, remember me saying, give me the upset. Less than 3 minutes to seal the deal. Panthers over Baker. I do remember you saying that. Yes.
Baker's up 20-16 right now.
They're up 2016. Carolina has the ball in Tampa Bay territory. So we'll see, John, if you are correct. I mean, look, Carolina's playing better football. And because of that, if you are a Panthers fan, I know it's going to be tough to say, you probably feel a little bit better going into next season than you might have like 4 weeks ago. Because now you know Bryce Young can give you opportunities to win. You know, get him a wide receiver.
Anything. Just get him anything. Back.
Yeah. Just basically take best player available whenever you're drafting and try to hit a home run in free agency with somebody, convince them to go there. I know that's going to be tough as well. But with Bryce Young playing like this, maybe you could get some free agents to go there. Now, the owner might turn him away, but that's a battle you kind of have with him. John says, look at Seattle's schedule. Give me the Cards. I think the Cards have an easier schedule. True.
Yeah, but give me a quarterback.
Kyler Murray, you just don't know.
Bang. There it is. Give me a quarterback who makes the plays.
Yeah. Here we go. I need the Rams to step up on defense. Yeah. Well, I mean, you're talking about a division where every team has a glaring weakness.
Oh, yeah.
So the Rams got the defense. Niners have health.
I was going to say, theirs is not a position. It's everybody.
It's just everywhere. Just health. Like the Cards, it's, I guess, professionalism. Like, got to be serious about this. Got to, hold on to the ball, not turn it over carelessly. In Seattle, it's Geno Smith. Can Geno Smith make plays? And if he can, I think they're fine. Let's see. Who do we have getting the number one pick, the Raiders or the Giants? That's an interesting question there. I mean, you could technically throw the Jags into that equation as well because they're all 2-10.
Who will screw up and actually win a football game? That's the question.
Yeah.
Saints, Ravens, Falcons, Colts, Eagles. That's who the Giants have left.
Mm.
Let's see. Raiders, Buccaneers, Falcons, Jaguars, Saints, Chargers. I mean, number one pick might come down to who wins it between the Jaguars and Raiders.
Yeah. If I had to pick that game, I might actually like the Raiders better. I like Brock Bowers. That
Yeah,
guy.
I got him on my fantasy. He balled out this last week.
Anthony said he said the Raiders and the Giants because they need a quarterback. Okay. I mean, yes, Jags
I don't trust any
technically
of the
have Trevor
quarterbacks that
Lawrence,
are in
but
this.
you know,
I don't trust any of the quarterbacks coming in this draft.
that's also
There hasn't
a
one of
problem.
them that's showing me like this is the guy. Not a single one. Will Howard can't beat Michigan. Jalen Milroe's iffy. Cam Ward's iffy. Kyle McCord, you might be able to take Kyle McCord and let him roll it out there. I mean, he's been balling out at Syracuse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I am not messing with Dion and Shador. I'm not dealing with that headache. Shador Sanders is destined for Chicago. That's where he's destined for. Just bring more headache into that organization.
I completely agree with this. If they have the chance to go to Vegas, Dion is going to push for that heavy.
Yeah.
Dion is made for Vegas. All the lights and everything. Like Dion would love that, and not too far from Colorado. So you know, he would definitely be in both places a lot. So I think Vegas, yeah. New York, yeah. I don't think Dion wants his kid anywhere near that organization. John said Dylan Gabriel.
No, short lefty. Not dealing with it.
Anthony asked, when does Call of Duty come out? Talking about Kyler Murray. Call of Duty is already out.
Maybe he's balling out on like how do I forget about because he's a short lefty. Name how many short left-handed quarterbacks have been prosperous in the NFL. Steve Young, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Tua, book still unwritten.
How you forget about my Oregon quarterbacks? Oh, this is always a thing between Anthony and John. The Oregon Ducks. Yeah, we know.
Because Oregon is irrelevant to me. They should have stayed in the Pac-12 where they were destined to stay.
Well, there you go. I mean, you guys. Yes, you're dealing with Wisconsin fan. Oregon's the new guy on the block. Like, yeah.
They ain't shit. Ohio State's still the dog.
Okay, there you go. There you go, Oregon fans. I guess getting back to the exercise here. Vikings. How confident going into Ford Field, getting a win?
5. Just because of the defense. 5. 50-50
I think
shot.
that's fair. I think that's fair. I mean, yeah, because Sam Darnold, I would worry, but the defense should keep them in it. The Falcons.
2. Kirk Cousins threw 4 interceptions.
Okay,
today.
John does have an answer. Mike Vick was 5'11" and left-handed.
Stop it.
But Mike Vick was also an ultra athlete that did not hurt him in any way.
No. I don't know if Dylan Gabriel's the same kind of athlete that what Michael Vick was.
Right.
He's got a gun. I'll give it to him. He's got an arm. I'll give you an arm.
Mm-hmm.
He's got an arm. I just don't. He doesn't have the same athletic ability Mike Vick had. He does not. I'm not naming exact sizes here. I'm telling you that they're short. Nobody's going exact sizes right now.
I mean, look, I don't care Tebow's
Boomer
size. He doesn't really
Esiason
make
was
your
also
argument.
short. Yeah, Boomer Esiason was a short left-handed quarterback. I'm telling you, how many of them have been prosperous? Not many. Tim Tebow, not prosperous. Tua, not prosperous. Mike Vick, he might have been something if he didn't have his whole other crap going on. But outside of that, Steve Young, yeah. What about Matt Leinart? How'd he do? Not very well, did he? Not very well. I got
Yeah.
a bunch of Pro Bowlers here.
I'm about to say the Ravens blocked a field goal, but were offside, so the Eagles have another shot at it. And nailed it. So then I'm up 12
Bam.
with a minute left. So
Bam.
that game's pretty much over. Anthony says the Panthers are up by 3 now, which
All right.
which they are. Look at Bryce Young leading a game-winning drive potentially. There's 19 seconds left. The Bucks are about midfield, so the Bucks might actually get a field goal opportunity out of this. But I guess finishing up, the Falcons, the Seahawks. How confident going into Ford Field would you be with the Seahawks?
Give me a 4. I don't know. A 4 seems they ain't like not favored, but like they could maybe pull off some magic, I guess.
I would worry a little bit, Geno, and the line. The line can be very inconsistent in Seattle with potentially, the Lions and their ability, especially at home, that, yeah. I think I agree. 4 seems about right. Then the Eagles. Obviously, looking at how the Eagles look right now.
Yeah, 8 or a 9. Right with the Packers. 8 or a 9.
Okay. Well, there you go. Yeah.
I want to answer the question of the how many been good from Wisconsin question. How many been good from Oregon? Answer me that question. How many good quarterbacks have been from Oregon? I'll wait. Marcus Mariota? Can't count him. Throw him out there. Can't count him there.
Not
Bo Nix? We don't know. Bo Nix is still
a Joey Harrington guy?
Joey Harrington. No way. Come on now. He played for Detroit. He didn't do nothing. I mean, I'm looking at all the rest. Like, who else? Like Justin Herbert. We cannot say Justin Herbert is better than what Russell Wilson was with Seattle. Can't. And Russell Wilson came from Wisconsin. Yeah, he only played there for a year, but he was there for a year.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, but you can say how many NFL quarterbacks are in there, but
I do like Herbert. I do
backups. Like I do like Herbert too. I like Bo Nix. I thought Bo Nix he's a gamer. Mm-hmm. I like him. But I'm just saying that if we want to get into technicalities of quarterbacks in the league and what they've done, tell me what an Oregon quarterback has done in the league. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Unless we want to deep dive history, we can deep dive history and find something in there, but we're not going to deep dive history, right? Badgers, Scott Tolzien was in the NFL. Great. He was a backup quarterback. So was Marcus Mariota. Like, we can deep dive it, but honestly, between the two, they've not had many quarterbacks. Wisconsin we don't pride ourselves on quarterbacks, so that was a nice try to jab there, but we were running backs. How many running backs got in the NFL? I mean, it's such a silly thing.
I mean, look, James White with that Super Bowl against Atlanta for me with the Patriots, like,
yep,
that's
James
my guy.
White, Jonathan Taylor. Technically, Melvin Gordon should have had Heisman, but they gypped him out for Marcus Mariota, and I will argue that until yes, what I'm saying, John. You're completely arguing my point right now. They claim speed. Great. That's where all these skill positions come from. What was Wisconsin's offense based around? Offensive linemen, running backs. That's what we built. That's what Wisconsin's offense was. You don't need a freaking quarterback to run a system like that. Now we need a quarterback because we're trying to run a different system. But before that, you could get by with the Alex Horner-Brooks and everything else because you didn't have to throw the football. You were turning around and handing it off to Jonathan Taylor, Melvin Gordon, James White, Monte Ball, Corey Clement. Guess what? How many backs went to the NFL from Wisconsin? A crap load. Linebackers, a crap load. I would actually venture to guess there might be just as many linebackers and defensive linemen in the NFL from Wisconsin that there is from Oregon. I would actually venture to guess that that is actually a true statement. There probably is.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, when I think Wisconsin, I don't necessarily think about quarterbacks. I think,
No.
like you said, running back. Even like, I don't know. Is it just running back? It can't be just running back.
Offensive linemen, running
I was about to
backs,
say lineman. Yeah, yeah.
linebackers. I mean, look at the linebackers: T.J. Edwards, Zach Bond, Leo Chanel, T.J. Watt. I mean, we can go through a laundry list of linebackers come out of Madison, and then you look defensive linemen. Look at, I mean, how many? We'd have to go through a list here. I'd have to pull it up because I forget about guys. But Wisconsin has never put themselves on quarterbacks. So making an argument that we have more quarterbacks in the NFL, like I
Mm-hmm.
would hope so. I would really, really hope
Yeah,
so.
right. I guess just to catch up with Anthony's, he said Tebow should have switched to tight end.
Yes.
I agree. Well, Tebow had the ego. He didn't want to do it. I think it would have been interesting to see what Tebow would have done as a tight end. I also said Lamar Jackson sucks. Dude has no accuracy. Hey, Anthony, you are preaching to the choir. I tell Ravens fans all the time, I don't trust them in the playoffs because of that guy.
Yep.
I mean, yes, he just threw in a garbage touchdown, but, who cares? When the game was in the balance, what was he doing?
Well,
Nothing.
hold on. Now hold on. There's an onside kick yet.
Okay. Knowing Justin Tucker, he might put it into the fourth row.
He'd put it through the uprights. I told you guys I could do it.
Yeah. Uh, he said, look, Lamar has more rushing yards than Henry. Not surprised. Another reason why I can't get down with Baltimore because they just want Lamar to get that third MVP so bad. And Tucker almost missed that kick. Like this guy he's broken right now. Every kick is going like right or left and just at the upright. That one just snuck in there. But
Good.
uh
Yeah. Did that actually
Anthony
make it?
said,
Yeah.
yeah, he made that one. Anthony said, John, stop talking. You're making our Oregon Ducks look bad.
See, the worst part is like I don't even hate Oregon. I don't even
Yeah.
like hate them. I just when you got all that money up there in Oregon right now, I would hope you put together a better team than Wisconsin can. I would really hope so with all that money.
Yeah.
It's a branding thing. Oregon should be able to put one of the best teams on the field every single season simply because of the Phil Knight ownership.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, that obviously helps them out a lot.
Yeah.
And also an update that Panthers Tampa Bay went to overtime. Okay, never count out the Fighting Bakers in Tampa Bay. Uh, all right, so went through both of them. I think we each agree.
Dude, I think
That,
it's depressing. The last thing he just commented. I think that's depressing.
hold on, because the little chat feature here in Restream went haywire. So I'm looking it up here. Good. What the Michigan one with the walk on? Oh, 37 for Oregon, 30 for Wisconsin in the NFL
You
today.
have 7 more guys in the NFL than Wisconsin, and you're telling me that dude, dude. Do we realize that those guys that are on that list are like, I don't know, 3, 4 stars? Like our team is built off of 2, 3, and 4 stars, and you have 7 more guys in the NFL. Compare the list. Compare the list for me. Who's in there? Because I would like to see the stars. I would like to see. I'm honestly intrigued now by this statement because I would like to see who's got the better stars in the NFL. I would really be intrigued to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know, TJ Watt, I don't think he went to Oregon. I'm pretty sure he went to Wisconsin. Leo Chanel is one of the best defensive players on Kansas City. He went to Wisconsin. Zach Bond with the Eagles is one of their better linebackers, went to Wisconsin. So I'd be interested to see where most of these guys came from.
Yeah. All right. The game's officially over. Eagles get the win. Was it 24-19? So Philly's now 10-2. Baltimore is now what 8-5? Yeah. Do they move behind the Chargers then? Because the Chargers beat the. So now the Ravens are now the 6th seed.
Wow.
which would mean if the playoffs were to start, they would be facing Pittsburgh.
They have got to make a phone call for a kicker. They have got to.
Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be a tough. That's a tough conversation. Because, like I said,
You're two for
he's a
four on
legend.
field goals.
But I'm just saying,
You
like
were
he's a
2 for 4.
legend with the team. They probably don't want to make it. They don't want to embarrass him in any way. But you cannot take that guy into the playoffs and expect him to make a big kick. I'm
No,
sorry, because
no, he was 2 for 4 on the game. I mean, that's your difference. That's your difference in the score is 2 for 4.
but even the makes are like
Oh
they're
man.
yeah, they're scary. He's that closer that you bring him in and he's gonna walk like 2, 3 guys and you're there just pulling your hair out, like just get me that third out. Let's move to tomorrow. That's what Justin Tucker is. And a lot of times with those closers, they don't last long and you don't really use them much in the playoffs because you don't need them blowing a game for you. Last thing Baltimore would need is Justin Tucker to miss a big kick, let's say in Pittsburgh, wild card weekend, to lose a game. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see what they do. I, Something tells me they won't. Like Harbaugh will probably come out and say, Justin's working on it. We trust him and all that kind of stuff. Which, sure, knock yourself out. But yeah. This is like Chuck Knobloch all over again. He misses that one throw from second base, and then it just snowballs from there, and he was just never the same. So there we go. We just weaved in some baseball there. Anthony says, wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens don't make the playoffs. Oh, now? Okay. Anthony, we're bringing up an interesting conversation there. So you're looking at the Ravens at 8-5. The Colts are 6-7. That's the biggest competition of knocking them out. Do you see the Colts making up a 2-game lead, or I guess a 2-game deficit, with only 4 games to go? That might be a lot to ask. And that also means you would need the Ravens to keep losing. They have their bye week. They go to New York to face the Giants. If they lose that game, now you're onto something. But they do have the Steelers. Steelers already beat them. You have the Texans, who once again on paper should be able to hang with this team. We'll have to see. And then Cleveland. Look, end of the season, and Jameis Winston is as much of a wild card as Kyler Murray. Cleveland could be down for that game, especially with it being a divisional game. So it's not necessarily the easiest 4 games for them, but you would think they might be safe. I mean, look at the Colts here. Colts have their bye week, and then they go to Denver. That's a game that they're going to need to get because if they lose that to Denver, they're probably knocked out at that point. Then they get the Titans. They have to go to New York for the Giants, and then the Jaguars. That's not a terrible schedule for the Colts. I'm gonna say they don't. I don't think they get it done. I think Baltimore hangs on.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's definitely an interesting question to have. If there were more games left, I'd probably be there with you because I don't like. Yeah, I haven't bought into Baltimore at all this year. I know their fans love to whatever, but I just looking at this performance, no, that's not a good showing. That game was in Baltimore too. Actually, let's look at the final. Let me see the box score. I do want to see some of these numbers on this game. So we got Jalen Hurts is 11 for 19 for 118. They didn't really need him that much because they got 140 yards on the ground between Barkley and himself. Baltimore, Lamar 23 for 36, 237, 2 touchdowns, 1 touchdown was garbage time. I don't care about that. Derrick Henry, 19 carries, 82 yards. Lamar, 8 carries, 79 yards. I mean, this is a game you could probably have seen Derrick Henry get like 25 carries if you wanted to, but they limited him to 19. Zay Flowers had 3 catches for 74 yards. He had that like in the first quarter, so he did nothing after that. Andrews, he found that connection. Likely actually did something this game. He caught the garbage touchdown, but he had 5 catches as well. Yeah, it's Nelson Aguilar was out there for cardio. Lamar had 2 fumbles. Like, yeah, real pedestrian performance from them. And yeah, the Ravens are where they are right now. So I guess looking at that game, since Anthony did bring it up with the Ravens, because we did mention it earlier about them going into Kansas City. Would you change your number off of that performance against the Eagles today? Right now.
What was my number before? Did I say 5? Did I say 5 or 6?
I think it said 5 or 6, yeah.
Did they get a new kicker?
That's why our conversation needs, yes.
Yeah, because if they get a new kicker, then I feel better. The defense for the Ravens is not they're suspect all the way around. Saquon was able to do just about everything Saquon wanted to do. The secondary is still not very good at all. I mean, there's a lot of questions there. Can they win it if it gets into a shootout? Sure, maybe. Right? If Lamar's feeling it that night and he's hot and he's hitting all his throws and Derrick Henry's hot and he's feeling it, okay, yeah, sure. Like maybe. But I am still at that 5, 4, 5, 6, somewhere in their range with them.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't think it should drop it too far, but
no, they still got a shot. I mean, Lamar Jackson's still a threat all the way around, and Derrick Henry's still on that football team. They still have an offense.
Yeah, they do. I don't like Harbaugh. I don't like Monken because I don't like their game plan. But I guess you still have to give them somewhat of a chance. I still would take Kansas City because even if Baltimore had a late lead, I think Mahomes could be having a terrible day. Baltimore takes a late lead. I would have full faith that Mahomes would drive down the field against that secondary and get the win. Because even though Jalen Hurts didn't like torch them or anything, the secondary still is not good.
Yeah.
That second level for the Ravens defense is horrific. They got Roquan Smith who can, make tackles or whatever. But if you're asking them to cover a tight end or a back out of the backfield, like he is going to get lost. So I think more than anything, that defense, I don't have any faith with them. With actually a lot of teams in the AFC. I think Baltimore would struggle against Kansas City. I think they would struggle against the Steelers in the playoffs. I think they would struggle with Buffalo in the playoffs. I've said their best bet is to get the 5 seed and face Houston. Because at least Houston, you're in a dome, and Houston is as Jekyll and Hyde as anybody. If they face anybody else in the opening round, I might take them over Baltimore at this point.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. All right. I mean, a little over an hour, I guess. Probably could look to wrap up because, like I said, for some reason the chat thing here in Restream went haywire. So in order for me to see it, I have to go back and forth between Facebook. Let's see. Okay, so John just put his list of Oregon guys.
Yeah, it's irrelevant.
I mean, Christian Gonzalez is my guy. Love that guy. He is out of Oregon.
I was just looking up something to double down on that one. I don't see any of those guys up near the top and sacks leaders on the season, but I do see Andrew Van Ginkel, who is a former Badger. He's number 6 on the list there. I do see TJ Watt on there too. So those are 2 guys. I got those. I also was looking at total tackle leaders, and there's some people that he liked to name off. forgot about for the Badgers there.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Vaughn is also number 8 on that list in total tackles for the Eagles on the season there. So, I mean, just an impressive stat there. TJ Edwards, linebacker, also on this list, number 18. So we can go on and on with the list. I don't know there's a lot of irrelevant Oregon players in the NFL. There's a lot of irrelevant Wisconsin players in the NFL. We could go on and on with the list. If you do not have better players in the NFL from Oregon than Wisconsin, I think we have
Mm-hmm.
problems. I think we really do have problems because those are 5 stars and 4 stars we're talking about coming out of there. And we're talking about 3 and 4 stars coming out of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
They just ball out. I don't know what to tell you. James White, he's a dog.
Look, that guy, if there was a big game, I had no problem with that guy in the backfield.
Nope.
And he wasn't the biggest guy. He wasn't the fastest guy.
No, he's a little dude.
He just made
he was
plays.
A little dude. And just the thing, they had a backfield at Wisconsin once with Corey Clement, James White, and Melvin Gordon all there at the same time. And Monte Ball. We all forget about Monte Ball was also around too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had some crazy. And Braylon Allen now in the NFL. He's with the Jets, so it doesn't really count. But, I mean, they had some crazy backfields there for the Badgers.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Did that. Is there any game I actually wanted to touch on? Nah, we kind of did. Well, Tampa Bay, Carolina are still in overtime. The Bucks are down to the Panthers 10, so they might be poised to win that game. Well, Sunday night, we usually end our show this way. Niners, Bills, who you got? It looks like the temperature thing just changed. It said, when I looked at it like 10 minutes ago, it said 24 degrees snow. Now it's showing 30 degrees and like overcast.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Let me pull up the weather for Orchard Park right now. Orchard Park. Orchard Park, New York. Lake effect snow warning.
I mean,
they're going to last until 7 p.m. Eastern, so they should already be done.
Yeah.
But it did snow a lot. It's going to be cold. And the Bills are going to win this football game just because, I mean, Lenore's out for the 49ers. Trent Williams is out. Fowles is out. Elliott's out. And so is Nick Bosa. I mean, they are banged up on the defense right now. And I think Josh Allen will take advantage of that in this game. For the Bills, they do have some guys out for this one, but Kincaid is out for this game. But I don't see a path for the 49ers to win this one. I don't think Christian McCaffrey is fully healthy because I thought with the backup quarterback last week against the Packers, they would have rode him. They didn't. I don't think he's fully back to health yet, and I think that's going to hurt him too.
Yeah. I mean, I find it hard to think that the Niners get this win, but if they're going to need Allen to give them a couple of turnovers. I think, as we mentioned before, I think Josh Allen's kind of locked in. I know Anthony brought up a comment about Josh Allen as an MVP. And look, I didn't buy into the whole Lamar for the third MVP talk. My stance has been he's won 2. I wouldn't give him another one until he does something in the playoffs. I know it's not a playoff award, but it's just like if he wins a third and like loses in wild card round, he'd have more MVPs than playoff wins. Something about that just does not vibe with me because I can't think of any other, multiple MVP winner at the quarterback position that was this bad in the playoffs.
No.
And to me, that's an issue. But he might still get the third, but whatever. If it was between the quarterbacks, yes, I would give it to Josh Allen. And for what Joe Burrow's gone through in Cincinnati, I would probably throw a vote at him before Lamar Jackson. Because that guy is playing with like an anchor tied to his back that is that defense and is still putting up really good numbers. The record will never allow him to win it, but yeah. I know the 5 interception game kind of threw Goff out of the equation for a lot of people, but I think you do have to respect what he's done every game outside of that one for Detroit. And then yeah, like I mean, I know Jordan Love's missed a couple of weeks. Jordan Love's had a pretty good year as well. Like
Yeah.
I think there's other quarterbacks that you can look at that don't need to be Lamar because he just doesn't deserve that third one for me. I don't know.
I like that. I like bold take.
Right. So we'll see. Like I said, I've got Buffalo winning tonight. I just think they're playing better right now. They're getting Matt Milano back. I think that's going to be a big deal for them. Obviously, tonight he probably won't look whatever, but for this stretch run, that might be a key addition that if Buffalo were to make the Super Bowl, we might look at this and say that might have been the moment that got them there. Because Milano is like their quarterback on defense. They've missed him. So I think that's going to be big for them. But yeah, I think that's a good place where we can end it. You know, we ran through our little confidence picks. Might look at that maybe right before the playoffs start when we kind of know the seeding. We'll obviously look at playoff matchups when we get to that point as well. Because I do think with a lot of teams, who they get in the wild card round will probably greatly affect how deep they go into the playoffs. But I mean, Trajan, anything you want to add before we get out of here?
Oh, I think we hit it all tonight. We hit a lot more than we should have. Holy crap. All over the place.
I mean, as we try to do, like real compact, get as much as we can. All right. Yeah. So I know you have your show kind of later tonight as well. So if you guys want to check out some more from Trajan.
And Kyle, he's coming on tonight.
Yes,
he's
I will be on
tonight.
I will be on tonight as well.
If you guys want to continue the Oregon banter.
Yes. Go to Wisconsin Sports on the Go. Hear it a little bit. Like I said, I will be a guest tonight on the show. So if you want some more from us, go check them out there. I have my channel chomping at the bit as well. You can go check out some of my content there as well. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to Integrity Sports Network for all the other shows that are on here as well. I feel like you were about to say something.
I just saw John just asked I don't know how to drop a link. I'm sorry on here, but if you search Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, we're going to be on Twitter tonight too. Twitch, I wouldn't be able to tell you what the Twitch login is right now, but on Twitch, it's on there. Wisco Sports on the Go, and then on Kick TV, it's on there too. So you can find it across all of them. But if you're on Facebook right now, John and Anthony, you're over on YouTube, you can just search Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage, and we'll go live there. Yeah. Or Kyle can tag you. He can tag you on Facebook there. He can tag you on Facebook. Or Kyle usually shares to his channels too. So I
share it to my channels, and I always tag followers and stuff. So yeah, when we do go live, you'll get a notification for sure. All right. So yeah, look out for that because that should be more of this. Just good fun.
Aaron will be there. It'll be a riot. He'll be fired up. Yeah, Penn State's in the Big Ten championship now, so he's all kinds of riled up right now. John, this is your time. This is your time.
Yes.
You can try to shoot on Wisconsin fans, but we're already down, man. You don't have to do it anymore. We suck. But you have Penn State coming up, and Aaron is going to be in there talking about his Penn State and Nittany Lions. So if you want to talk some crap about Penn State, get in there. Just get in there and give it to him.
Yes. And I'm a BC fan that just loves to egg it on. I'm gonna turn him into a James Franklin fan before anything. I'm gonna do it. We will be talking college football because it was an interesting week over there. But yeah, make sure you look out for that notification for sure. I guarantee you, it will be a lot of fun over there. So with that, make sure you come back next week for another edition of Snap Counts. Look, we'll be another week closer to the playoffs. A lot of things are going to shake out, and we will be here to talk about it. So for myself and Trajan, enjoy the rest of your night. Make sure you watch us. You can have the game on the background, Niners, Bills, but make sure you tune into us. And we'll see you next week. All right.